What's going on, everybody? It's your boy, JBACS, back here for yet another episode of Pork Puck Hockey, where we talk hockey and only hockey. Man, oh man, do I have a show for you today. Let me just tell you, that trade deadline that's on Monday, it's already seen a lot of movement throughout the whole league. Not as much as we were expecting. We thought there might be a few more moves, but still, plenty of moves. Also, fair amount of injuries to talk about tonight, too. Still, a lot of guys still injured from last week. A lot of guys joining the injury list. So, we'll hit you with the trades here to get her going. The first one, the Toronto Maple Leafs and the Florida Panthers came up with a good little trade here. Toronto will get Dennis Mulligan, and Florida will get Mason Marshman. But anyhow, little swap there of a 1-for-1. Mulligan, he can help the Toronto Maple Leafs with a center position, and he's also a good little goal scorer. So good little trade for both of them. Florida gets a decent guy in Mason, and good luck to both those teams. St. Louis, they've made a trade for a defenseman, Marco Scandella. Montreal, they're going to get a 2020 second round and a 2021 fourth round conditional pick for Mr. Scandella. And Montreal's kind of clearing house, it might seem, but St. Louis is looking to make another run here for the Stanley Cup. Washington, they have done this quite a few times in the past with the trade for a defenseman at the deadline time frame. They'll get Brendan Dillon from San Jose, and San Jose will receive a 2020 second rounder and a 2021 conditional third round pick. So San Jose loses a very good defenseman, but they get some good picks here in the upcoming years. Winnipeg, they are going to trade and get themselves a defenseman, Dylan DeMello, and Ottawa's going to get a 2020 third round pick. That's kind of a smaller trade. Ottawa, one of those teams that are selling as they're pretty much out of the playoff hunt at this point, and Winnipeg trying to stay in the upper ranks there and get themselves a better defenseman. The New York Rangers have made a trade. Julien Gauthier will go to he'll go to New York from Carolina, and Carolina's going to get defenseman Joey Keane. That helps both teams there. Carolina needs some defense help with a couple injuries, and overall actually just need an upgrade, and New York's going to need a forward here, so good trade between those two. Vancouver, this is one of the bigger trades. They're going to get Tyler Toffoli, right? Tyler Toffoli has left Los Angeles and will join Vancouver. And Los Angeles is going to get forward Tim Schaller and forward Tyler Madden and some picks. So a lot of a price to pay for Mr. Toffoli, but Toffoli is a great player all around, and he should help Vancouver. Vancouver is one of those teams that, we were kind of iffy about if they were going to make the playoffs, and Toffoli should help them reach their ultimate goal of getting into the playoff hunt. Tampa Bay, this is an interesting trade. Tampa Bay has received Blake Coleman, really good forward for the Devils, and the Devils get a first rounder and Nolan Foote. So Tampa Bay loses a pretty good prospect there in Foote, and a first rounder, but they receive Coleman, who should help them maybe make that Stanley Cup run this year. Next up, the New York Islanders. They have traded they got star defenseman Andy Green from New Jersey. Andy Green, they've had a great relationship, but they're selling. I wouldn't be surprised if we see PK Subban get moved, or even Wayne Simmons. New Jersey gets a 21 second rounder, and they also get prospect David Quenneville in this trade, and pretty good moves for both teams there. Here's another big name that was traded. Los Angeles, being sellers, they have traded all-star defenseman Alec Martinez to the Vegas Golden Knights. In return, they get a second-round pick in 2020 and 2021. So a couple second-rounders for Mr. Martinez there. Vegas, man, let me tell you, they are a good franchise for being an expansion team in their third season. Yeah, you wouldn't think about an expansion team being as good as they are, but they make some moves here and get a good quality defenseman who can also put the puck in the net. And we'll see. See what happens there. I'd say they'll make another playoff run yet this year. Next up, we got a minor leaguer swap between Toronto and Ottawa. Toronto gets Max Verono, and then Ottawa will get Aaron Luchuk and a conditional sixth rounder. And the Rangers, this is the last trade on my list here. The Rangers have added another goaltender in JF Berube, and Philadelphia gets some future considerations in that trade. I didn't really hear anything other than that at this point. Interesting, as they have Georgiev, Tekken, or however you say his name, and Lundqvist. So maybe one of those guys will get moved here before Monday. We'll see. Now I'll hit you with the injuries real quick. The injuries, Brock Besser, he's going to be out 8+ weeks with rib injury, and that's kind of why Vancouver got Toffoli there in that one. Oscar Klefbom, he's out a couple weeks with a shoulder injury. And Philip Grubauer is out indefinitely with a lower body injury that he suffered in the Stadium Series game on Saturday. Interesting there. Maybe New York and Colorado make a trade for a goaltender with Grubauer being out. Colorado needing a goaltender. We'll see. Erik Karlsson, he is out for the season with a thumb injury. This is very tough for the Sharks as they trade Dillon, and Carlson's now out, so their defense is really hurting at this point in the year, so we'll see. The Senators made a claim on the waivers for Jace Hollerluck of the Florida Panthers. He was placed on waivers, and Ottawa decided to pick him up. Good pickup for Ottawa, a decent depth forward. Should help them in the rebuilding process. Claude Julien, coach of Montreal Canadiens, he was fined pretty good penny for making some harsh comments about the officials in a game this weekend. So we're going to hit the stats and standings. But first, I wanted to give a big thank you to our sponsor, Sunreaver. You guys can catch their link at the end of the video and in the comments below. So if you're looking for some new music to listen to, go check them out. So let's hear how the teams are doing. Here we go. The Eastern Conference has changed a little bit as Pittsburgh has taken the lead in the Metropolitan with 80, Washington in second with 79, and the Philadelphia Flyers in the 73, right there in the Pennsylvania and Metro area, leading the way in the Metropolitan. The Atlantic, Boston leads with 88, Tampa Bay with 85, and Florida with 70. That third spot going to be tightly contested with some of these teams. Toronto also at 70 points. The wild card, we got Carolina, 72. The New York Islanders, 72. Columbus Blue Jackets, 72. Toronto, 70. And the New York Rangers, 66, rounds out the top 5. Western Conference, St. Louis, they're doing great again in the Central. They're technically tied with Dallas at 76 points apiece, but because of the wins and losses and overtime losses, St. Louis holds the lead. Colorado in third with 75. That's a very tight division. Pacific, Edmonton 71, Vancouver 70, and Vegas 70. Yet another tight division. And the wild card, Calgary 68, Arizona 68, Winnipeg 67, Nashville 65, and Minnesota 63. Let's take a look at our stat leaders here before I bid you adieu. Leon Draisaitl, 95 points. He's running away with it at this point. The goal leader is David Pastrnak, 43, Matthews, 43, and Ovechkin, 40. The assist leader is Draisaitl, 61, and Karlsson, 55. Goalies, GAA, Tuukka Rask, 2.04. Save percentage, Tuukka Rask, 0.932. And the shutout leader is Elvis Merzlikins. And rookies, Quinn Hughes, he holds a 2-point lead over Mr. Cale Makar, 47-45 respectively. Kubalik with 25 goals leading the way, and Quinn Hughes, 39 assists. Well, folks, that's all I got for you this week. JBACS out. Catch you later.